And hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. So, thank you very much for joining us today for this webinar from all across the globe. And this is Fanindra Kaza. I do work as a sales and business development manager at Avalon Software Services, and I do look after new businesses from Middle East and USA regions. So, before getting started with this webinar, let me give a quick intro of Avalon Software Services. So Avalon has more than 13 years of experience in providing top-notch services to our clients. So we have established our company in 2011. And today we have a team of over 200 plus professionals who are working with us worldwide and successfully executed over 90 plus projects and 30 plus cloud implementations globally till now. And we can deliver both offshore and on-site support and take up end-to-end projects as well. So, and we are proud service track partners with Oracle, and Avalon is also a part of Vision Group of companies. As said, Vision Group, which is a CMI level 3 company certified, which has more than 2 decades of experience with 5,000 plus employees who are working globally and executed $1 billion worth project value with 20 plus Fortune 500 clients. And as part of Vision family, we bring access to large number of talent pool and wide range of expertise in multiple streams. So we are dedicated to delivering services from enterprise solutions like Oracle Cloud and EBS to diverse range of offerings, including managed IT services, digital technologies, custom ERP solutions, expert consulting for enterprise level implementations and upgrades, and also into Microsoft Dynamics, Power BI, and Salesforce solutions. And we have our headquarters in USA, which is in Austin, Texas, along with our presence in Canada, India, Australia, UAE, South Africa, and the UK. So we are positioned strategically, ensuring that we are capable of catering our services worldwide. Yes, coming to today's webinar topic, which is streamline your value chain planning using Oracle Demantra. So we will try to keep this webinar fun and interactive. And during this session, if anyone has any questions related to this topic, feel free to drop them in the Q&A section, and we will clarify them in between the topics. Now, without any delay, let me introduce our senior principal consultant, subject matter expert, and the presenter of this webinar, Mr. Bharatiraja Mathayan. Welcome, Mr. Bharatiraja. You can take over from here.
Thank you very much, Panindra. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is doing good today. Let me take this opportunity to quickly introduce about me. I am Bharatiraja Mathayan. I am Senior Principal Consultant and Oracle VCP SME, working at Avalon Software Services, a Vision Group of company. I have 15 years of experience in Oracle ERP and Fusion applications. On Oracle ERP Fusion implementation, rollout, and support projects, work for EMEA, APAC, and US clients. Working experience with business segments like energy sector for power generation, oil and gas industries, mobile industries for hydraulics and for hydraulics and precision measurement devices, and on-road and off-road vehicle industries. So in the medical segment, I worked for surgical equipment and medical accessories manufacturers. And with that, research and development and service and rental-based business also, right, I have been worked with on the value chain planning and supply chain management. So with that, I have hands-on experience with Oracle Demantra demand planning and end-to-end implementation, upgrade, and support projects as well. This is just a quick summary of my professional experience. So with that, let's move on to the agenda for today's session. So it's about value chain planning. So value chain planning consists two parts, so demand and supply planning. So in today's session, we'll be deeply covering on demand planning, especially using Oracle Demantra. pay your attention and or ask for more questions during the session or in the QA session. Feel free to ask. So we will try to answer, and we will park it at the end. Then we can discuss more about it. So with that, so let's talk about what is Demantra. So there are numerous demand management tools and processes followed across the world based on nature of business and various industry segments. We're discussing about Oracle Demantra here and how it is helping organization for demand planning. The goal is to achieve best forecast accuracy using Oracle Demantra to meet sales, marketing, operations, finance, research and development departments. So all the teams, common goals met on time and within budget and without compromising business profit margin as well. We all know that business is to make profit. So we need to have a right people, process, and a tool at right place. While discussing about Demantra for demand planning, we consider the key factors like how to fulfill the customer demand on time, inventory utilization, inventory cost optimization, and also transparency in the department and organization goals. Well-defined forecasting process. Understand the influencers which are impacting the forecast accuracy, like seasonality, causal factors, and other factors. And what are the key challenges, and pain areas in the demand forecasting, and how Demantra helps and bridge the gaps to address those key challenges, and what will be the generic process with Demantra. So this we will be discussing at a high level. Oracle Demantra for demand planning. So what are the capabilities and what are the features that we have? So we will discuss about it now. What is demand planning? So demand planning is a supply chain management process that enable and help organization to project future demand to meet customer requirements on time, and also optimize the inventory utilization, inventory turns and its efficiency, on cost optimization. It can also be used for financial planning. Okay, what Demantra has to achieve? There are three capabilities. We can see three key capabilities of Demantra: demand sense, demand predict, demand shape. What is demand shape? So it's a process of focusing demand-driven supply network. Basically, it is to set an alignment of organization forecast into a reality, considering all the influencing factors, including market reference and trends. Once we have the decent demand sense, the next process will be the demand predict. So what it does, it's a strategic demand predictive process. What it does, it collaborates with stakeholders for historical bookings on orders and discounts on the trade promotions and marketing promotions, managing new products, including its life cycle, phase in, phase out, end of life products, and very seasonal based products. So they are all part of the predictive process. So along with, then we will save the demand. So demand shape is a process to optimize the demand influencers and drivers to achieve desired demand level for the organization. Okay, let's discuss a little about influencers. So what are the basic influencers? So seasonality. So everybody knows it. So it's a time-bound demand influencer. Example, sales during Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year, and so on. There will be a peak in sales on particular products. The same way, we have noticed that there is a drop in sales, for example, cold beverages during the monsoon. The increase in sales or spike in sales, the cold beverages sales in the summer, it will be gradually high. So these are all the seasonality factors, so which can impact business and products. And we have causal factors. So it's an unexpected market influencer, sometimes predictable, sometimes unpredictable, and market fluctuations. So which are impacting demand forecast. Example, the classic example is the COVID pandemic. So certain industries, the business and the demand has increased. The most of the business, the demand and the sales were down. And new competitive products, we can say the new products introduced in the market by the competitors based on its product features and its pricing may increase the competitors' product and its sales as well. So at the end, it will impact the revenue and profit of the organization. So causal factor plays a key role. And natural calamities like tsunami, heavy snowfall, political instability in the country or very specific reason, very region can impact the business operations and sales as well. So those are the factors. So based on the seasonality, causal factors, and other factors, and expert opinion, basically. So altogether, it helps to predict and arrive a good demand forecast. There are key controllers along with the influencing factors like demand time frames, planning time frames, and there are constraints enforcing the demand due date and enforcing the capacity constraints. And there are forecast consumptions which can impact the demand forecasting, like forward consumption, backward consumption. Considering all within Demantra, so it enables us to come up with a better forecast. Okay, with that, what are the inbuilt features in Demantra? So we have multi-dimensional OLAP for analysis. Example, aggregation and degradation from highest level to the lowest level and the lowest level to the highest level. So it is very much possible and it's the inbuilt. The same thing if you want to do it in the spreadsheet, it's not that easy. It's like you're pulling your teeth. And proportional series. In Demantra, we call it as a worksheet. In that worksheet, then it is the columns. That columns are nothing but a series. So the proportional series is something business wanted to try, some new scenario. It's very easy. Create a new series and just refer to the other series and its data to simulate the forecast. It's that easy. So it will not impact the existing forecast. It will just, we can just keep it as a simulation forecast. And custom methods and transfer queries, we call it as interfaces, just to invoke a specific custom requirements. Example, when I'm working on the product, so I got a new product. So what would be the tentative price? Just to analyze, I can just write a simple script, just right click and just click on show latest product price. It will just go and refer the similar product and it will fetch the data for us. Similarly, I need to find the similar item. I got a new item, so I would like to know, okay, what is the similar item for it? Just simply right click on that, find similar product. It will just get us the similar product first. One of the key features of Demantra, the real-time S&OP process to arrive consensus forecast. So basically, it helps us to collaborate between the teams in the organizations, and it enables the transparency in the forecasting process. And for a statistical model, we use a Bayesian algorithm. So we can use selective models as well as Bayesian combined models to get the statistical forecast. We call it as a baseline forecast. So by referring the baseline forecast, sales can come up with the sales forecast, and then marketing department can come up with the marketing forecast. Then we can discuss with operations for the constraints and viabilities. Then we can arrive the consensus forecast. So once the consensus forecast is arrived, then we will finalize the final forecast. That final forecast, we can follow the approval process. The respective department owner can approve it. Then we can archive it for the future reference. So this is at high level about Demantra and its features and capabilities. Just a quick note on the difference between Oracle on-prem, EBS, and cloud. So as you are seeing in the screen, business model. So that is where we do all the configurations for the level, series, worksheet, right? And the new forecast tree, all other configurations will be done in the business modeler. So whereas in cloud, that we call it as planning analytics. In EBS, we call it as level. In cloud, we call it as dimensions. Here it is series, and the cloud it is measures. Here it is worksheet. In cloud, it is a table. So the naming terminology and the naming conventions are a little different, but the functionality remains same. Let's move on to the next Panitra. Okay, what about current version of Demantra? So when we are talking about Oracle EBS or on-prem, it is 12 to 12 is the latest version. So whereas Oracle has given the recommended and the mandatory batches to be applied along with the Demantra Spectrum downloads, just listed here. So there are 3 mandatory batch and 1 engine related forecast engine related batch needs to be configured. And whereas in Fusion, so it comes in a bundle. So it's the stable version is 24E and the latest version is 24B just released. We can move on to the next Panitra. So what is current forecasting process? So where commonly found in organizations, there are few organizations using demand management tool. There are few organizations they are not using the demand management tool. So this is this slide specifically right referring to the client who are not using any of the demand management tools. So we have commonly found spreadsheet driven. So most of the demand forecasting process are referred in Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. The common challenges, the aggregation and disaggregation using Excel formulas. Not that easy because if it is a limited segment or if it is a limited group of SKUs, we'll be able to achieve it in a spreadsheet. But if it is say 1,000 or 10,000 or 25,000 SKUs, we need to aggregate, disaggregate. It is not that easy. I think those who are in planning or those who are working with the planners, so I think they're able to feel the pain of it. These systems with manual or limited ERP system integrations, because few organizations are using ERP system for transaction. So whereas the legacy system they are using for the forecast, but there won't be any integration. So there will be those 2 systems will be working on silos. So in case of any data discrepancy between the systems, it's not that easy to track it. So manually it should be corrected on both the ends. So there is a high possibility that the forecast error and inconvenience. And direct forecast edit or upload. So there are organizations, so they just have a Excel spreadsheet. They directly load the data into the integration, into the direct their transactional system. So there won't be any approval process, there won't be any review process. And then they find it very shortcut, but actually it has its pros and cons as well. An expert opinion forecast for new products. Basically, they do not have any process how to introduce a new item. So when the new item comes, though, since the planner and the experienced planner is working for an organization, so he knows the trend of the business. So based on his opinion, so organization go and introduce the product. On demand or transactional interaction. So in case the sales forecast is too high, then they go and refer to the marketing that no, this is my forecasting. And then when they discuss with the operations, they talk about the constraints, the on demand or the very transactional discussions. So which is not very convenient in arriving the consensus forecast. And department specific forecast. So it's very hard to understand the forecast and their goals between the departments. The sales team has forecast and goals, where marketing team has its own goals and the forecasting process, but they do not share with each other. So then the operations has their own plans. So when it comes to a single plan, so obviously, right, so there are right incompatibilities. Whereas in Demantra, so we can bridge that gap. And also we noticed sales and booking history, we have seen organizations are using between 2 to 5 years on an average. 2 years, it's being little less. So 3 years is recommended. Minimum 3 years is recommended. And 5 years is decently good. And more than 5 years, it's good. But sometimes right, it may give the performance issue because we need to end up processing a lot of data. The forecast horizon for demand planning, we have seen somewhere 15 days we have seen, so that is being very lowest. And even we have seen the daily forecast as well, but that is nature of business, so what they need. But usually we have seen 21 days to 5 years. On to the next one. What are the key challenges and pain areas here? The forecast aggregation and aggregation at multiple level when we are using it as spreadsheet or any independent tools or process. The end result, the forecast accuracy will take a hit. We know there is a forecast accuracy issue, but we don't know what to do with that. And scalability. So when we are in a initial phase of the demand planning process, when there are a selective number of SKUs, the manual process works very well. When it comes to say 100 SKUs to 1,000 SKU, 1,000 SKU to 10,000, 10,000 SKU to 1 lakh SKU, then the complexity slowly increases. The manual process will not be so effective, and sometimes it is not possible to. So that's when right, we need the forecasting tool and process. And handling seasonality and causal factors which are impacting the forecast. So manually, we have to be very selective, and we have to be very cautious in choosing it. If it is a tool, when we apply it, so it will be easily applicable for all the business or very particular segment of the business. The tool takes care of it. Non-availability of the real-time data. So when we follow the legacy system or unintegrated systems, the reality and the real-time data between the systems, there is a gap. So to bridge that, we need to have a scheduled process which can pull the data from the source system into planning system. So we make sure that, okay, we are working on the latest and greatest data. And long forecast cycle. So when we do not define any process, So the process can end up in a day, or it can end up to 30 days as well, or 45 days, even longer. So the process may end, or in between it can stop also, because we cannot track it. Since it is manual, so everything through email communication or chat communications. Whereas in tool, we will be able to track it very well. So when we initiate the process and where it is lying, if it is lying for certain days, then it can go for escalation matrix. Then it can go for uh, further escalation matrix and auto approval process. Then it keep on sending the reminders for the department head. So this workflow process will help us to follow the process initially. Financial planning. So the demand planning and demand forecasting itself a challenge. So the end result of financial planning, right, will carry forward the same. As we mentioned, the collaboration between different departments, sales, marketing, operation, and finance teams, it's always a challenge without the defined process, because they have their own targets, they have their own department goals, so they'll be working towards achieving it, and it's less time, or there's less priorities to look up what other teams goals and common goals and targets. And forecast archival for reference. So once the consensus forecast and the final forecast is achieved, then we can archive it for future reference. So down the line, 6 months later, so how our performance would be. So it is one of the KPIs that we can measure against it. So where we were 6 months ago, then where we are now, and what we wanted to be in next 1 year, 2 years to 5 years. Next one, please. Okay, so we discussed about the challenges. So what Demantra really bring to our table to address those key challenges. So before we get into that, so how we are going to address those challenges that we discussed already. So Panindra, do we have any questions from participants or?
Yes, Mr. Bhattaraja. So we do have a couple of questions. So first question is, in general, what is S&OP process duration?
It's a good question. In general, the S&OP process takes 21 days.
Mhm.
They can shorten to 15 days as well. So based on the number of departments and the number of approval process that they design, so based on that, it can vary. So to summarize it, between 15 days to 21 days is very much ideal.
Okay. The second question is it possible to restrict specific department data access for end users and all department access to key or admin users?
It's very much possible. It's one of the pre-built functionality. We have a separate module called user management. So there we can restrict to particular department, a particular segment of the business, and even we can go with the particular product family level as well.
Okay. And there is one more question. What is the minimum history bookings required for Demantra?
Recommended history bookings are 3 years.
Okay.
All
So
the
that's
other
it for now.
ones will work very well. So recommendation is 40 years.
Perfect. So hope Mr. Bhattaraja has covered all the three questions. And if you have any more questions, please feel free to drop them in the Q&A session, and we will try to clarify them. Please continue, Bhattaraja.
Yeah, about how to address those challenges using Demantra. So one is the arriving the statistical or baseline forecast. So which is the key reference for the sales department on the sales and marketing, right, to start with their forecasting process. So we use a Bayesian model, as we already discussed. So we can use it as a specific algorithm of Bayesian, or we can use combined model to arrive the appropriate statistical or baseline forecast. Flexible forecast cycle. So when we say flexible, so we can do we can define the forecast cycle on a daily basis. It's being very short. It's very less time to react the changes. And weekly, usually followed, and monthly, quarterly, and yearly as well. So based on nature of business, we can choose the forecast cycle. Aggregation and degradation. So from highest level to the lowest, and any dimension to the lowest level, and vice versa. So it is the inbuilt functionality. We no need to do anything. It does it for us. And collaborative sales and operations planning, as we mentioned those in the challenges, so between the departments, it gives the collaborative way, because once the sales is done, it has to go to the marketing for review, and it should be reviewed with operations for any incompatibility in the planning, and then we will arrive the consensus forecast. So it is not stopping there. So after arriving the consensus forecast, it has to go for the final forecast and its approval too. So it's a very transparent, and all departments are aware what's going on in the company, in the organization. So transparency, that's what I would like to highlight here. And reporting and analysis, we have the pre-built reporting and analysis with table data, graphs, pie charts, and we have the trend and KPI performance report and analytics as well. And Demantra has a workflow where we can define our custom workflow process for the demand planning process. So starting from starting the demand planning process, and how it goes to the department 1, department 2, and how to send the reminder, and then how to escalate. The matrix can be defined. Once they approve, it can be notified to all the stakeholders. It can send the alerts if no action is taken, and it can finally send the notification to all the key and end users, including admin users, to take actions on the SLA defined for their action items. At the end, once the process is done, so it can communicate to all the users that the forecasting process is done, that the system is available to use. So starting from initial process till the end of the process, we can automate it. And when we talk about the worksheets, where most of the planners are working on the worksheets, when I refer the worksheets, it is a Demantra worksheet. So we have the capability to use it online as well as offline. When we're using it the offline, so when we connect to the online, it automatically gets synced up. So this is one of the pre-built features available in Demantra. We have the predefined new product introduction, NPI features. So where we face a lot of challenges when we introduce a new product. So this has the guided way. So we can introduce a product, we can find a like item, we can just do the cannibalization, member management. Then we can come up with the similar item forecast as well. And we can tweak that by adding the causal seasonality and other corrections. So we can come up with the similar item forecast for the new products as well. And Oracle Demantra, no, it's not restricting to create new hierarchies, new dimension measures and attributes. So when I say unlimited, it's not like, because generally we will not create a lot of hierarchies and dimensions. So measures, yes, we do, because it's a business requirements, but it doesn't restrict to create a number of hierarchies and dimensions as well. And it has the inbuilt capabilities of monitor and measure the forecast KPIs. What is the forecast accuracy, and what is the past performance, and what is the comparative studies we can do using these forecast KPIs dashboards. We'll move to the next.
So, Mr. Bhartiraja, we do have a couple of questions, if I may ask. Want me to ask it now?
Please.
Yes. So first question, how does Oracle Demantra handle missing data or outliers in the demand forecasting process?
Missing data, so we have the combinations. So when we go for combinations, so wherever the sales data or the booking is missing, so we can easily identify it in the unassociated combinations. So that can be filtered out in the worksheet itself, so we can take action upon it. So why it is missing? Yes, we can find the root cause. So it's a detailed process, and we have the defined process for it.
And one more question, can Demantra forecast both in quantity as well as revenue and separate growth percentage for each?
Yes, it supports both. So I think if the question is like, I think we can do both quantitative as well as qualitative, and volumetric or volume forecast as well is possible. So that's how when I refer to the financial forecast is the volume, the quantity can turn into the volume. So actually it has to work two ways. So quantity to volume and volume to quality conversion is very much possible.
Okay. And for food and beverages manufacturing, which is process manufacturing industry, does cloud demand planning support trade promotion planning and optimization as supported in Demantra?
It is supported.
And one more question. Can Demantra, which is cloud demand planning, be seamlessly integrated with EPM for top-down and bottom-up planning sync?
Planned, I think that the integration is available, but we need to find out, okay, what is the nature of transaction and process that we need to define. We need a little field study for it. But top down, bottom up planning within Demantra, yes, it is the functionality which is already available. But along with EPM, yes, we need to look into that integration process.
So hope we have answered these questions, and if you have any further queries or maybe doubts, you can please drop them in our Q&A section and we will try to answer those questions.
Thank you for the questions. Yeah, it was very good questions actually. Okay, let's move on to the generic to be process with Demantra. So we talk about the key challenges and the pain areas and how Demantra is addressing those few of the key challenges and pain areas. So as we know that the demand planning process is a continuous improvement because it doesn't take us to the accuracy level of say 90%, 95% immediately. So basically it takes time. So based on the nature of the process and the way we follow the demand planning process, so it takes up to like the 6 months to 1 year. So continuously, like we need to monitor and we need to, it's a feedback system. So the person who is configuring a demand planning a process and the person who is using it and the end users, key users. So the extensive discussion and feedback is very much important to achieve forecast accuracy in a short span of time. So it's not that like we just define the process and then we just follow the process. When we click on the workflow, then it start, perform, take action at end, then the accuracy will be 95%. No, it's not. It's a feedback system. It takes little time to arrive the forecast accuracy. Okay, let's discuss about the to be process. So as we asked the booking history collection, so basically like they should be continuous. So it may be the point of sales, or maybe from past history, or maybe from the legacy system. We need to collect the booking history. So 3 years is advisable, and 5 years is good to work on all type of algorithm in the Bayesian models. And what are the causal factors for the nature of business, and similar to what are the seasonalities that we need to consider, It needs to be discussed and documented, and it should be freezed. So once we are ready with the booking history and influencers like causal factors and seasonality, then we can follow the process. So to generate the statistical forecast using the Bayesian model in Demantra, and then we can review the statistical forecast, and then we can review and modify the sales forecast by referring the statistical forecast. Then we can initiate the SNOP process through system. Then we can, at the end result will be the arriving the consensus forecast after the interdepartment discussions and collaborative the forecasting process. We will arrive to consensus forecast. So once the consensus forecast arrived, then we will initiate approval from the respective department owners. Then we will get the final forecast. Once the final forecast is arrived, we will freeze that cycle. Then we can we can end that forecasting process. Actually, it doesn't end here if you are using the planning system, the integrated planning system. For example, if you are using any Oracle supply chain integration planning system, or if any legacy planning system, so we have to use that the final forecast to upload into the planning system. Then we have to run the plan with the respective integration legacy systems. Then we have to review the plan. Then we have to it should be a two-way communication. So then it should tie back to if any changes during the supply chain plan modules, then that change should reflect into Demantra as well. So that's how it can help in the next iteration as well as for the future reference. So once that is done, then we arrive at the final the forecast is accepted and it's been already uploaded and downloaded from the planning system. Then we can close the forecast cycle. In case if we find it okay, something if any constraints in the process or some that the forecast accuracy is here, variance is too much, then we have to repeat the process again, starting from the reviewing the sales forecast and the modifying the forecast till the loading and download into the planning system. So this is how at a high level the generic process with Demantra. Do we have any questions from participants, Pamindra?
Yes, we do have a couple of questions. And question number one, can we export or import data from or to Demantra to any custom table?
Yes, it is very much possible. So as we discussed, transfer queries. So it's a technical name. This is nothing but integration interface where we can build our own the custom processes to import and export data within Demantra and from Demantra to external system too.
Okay. So another question. So Demantra has been tried and tested solution for demand planning. How do you rate the maturity of cloud demand planning solution to serve CPG industry? What are the key factors to be considered while selecting on-prem versus cloud solutions for demand planning?
Yeah, I understand. The cloud planning system is still evolving, but it doesn't stop us to implement or to do the migration between on-prem to cloud. But even in cloud, so we have a lot of features and advantages. But whereas in on-prem, so though it is a bit stable, but still there are functionalities, especially in the CPG industries. It's not it's very straightforward. So we have a way to achieve it.
Okay. Next question. Will Demantra workflow allow decision-based actions to follow the forecasting process, like approved, yes or no, data or no data, wait time is 3 days or later, etc. kind of things?
Yes, it is. Actually, the workflow is designed to achieve these the organization process. It allows decision making, it escalates, it sends the notifications, and if any changes during the approval process, say when sales department has done some changes while marketing is reviewing it, so that change will automatically can be notified to the marketing department with the specific worksheet. So they don't need to go and find it. Okay, what change was done by sales? Simply they just click on the worksheet. It will just take you there to view all the changes that they have done. So they can cooperate and they can incorporate those changes in the marketing review, and then during the next iteration process as well.
Okay, got it. Perfect. And I would say it was such an insightful webinar, and you've been very thorough. So thank you, Mr. Bhaktiraja, for your amazing insights on this topic and sharing best practices based on your experiences. And thank you, everyone, for your attention and participation. So we are offering free health check for all the participants. To avail the free assessment, please write to us at sales@avalonsoftwareservices.com, and we will be reaching out to you to schedule a meeting. And if you have any doubts, queries, or want to talk business, please reach out to us at sales@avalonsoftwareservices.com, or you can reach out to me at phanindra.k, which is phanindra.k @avalonsoftwareservices.com. And to know more about Avalon software and service offerings, head to our website, which is www.avalonsoftwareservices.com. And I would say we will be running a webinar series on insightful content like this. So please look out for our LinkedIn page, which is Avalon Software Services, or our website for latest updates on webinar and events. If you missed our previous webinar or you want to rewatch this webinar, you can visit our YouTube channel. Just head to YouTube, type in Avalon Software Services, and voila, you will find our channel. So feel free to subscribe, and you can also follow us on Twitter for the latest updates. So our Twitter handle is Avalon Software Services. So thank you everyone for your valuable time, and look forward to connecting with you all.